And we're back. That was Kanye West with Young Jeezy with the song Amazing. Anyways, now it's time for me to explain. For the last 14 years, Cox Sports San Diego has been the official provider of the San Diego Padres. For those wondering how did Cox get the rights to the Padres, it's simple. Back in 1997, KMFB, aka CBSA, gave them the rights to broadcast the Padres. They started doing some games, sharing them alongside other networks, until 2004 when KUSI, the independent one, gave up their rights, and thus Cox Sports San Diego acquired the rights to almost every Padres game, with the exception of the ones that air on ESPN, Fox, and later on TBS and other networks. Well, and of course they dropped the occasional Wednesday games since nobody watches the Wednesday games. But the thing was, well, they only aired on cable. That means for anyone who didn't have a cable, or in this case Cox or Time Warner, they were unable to see the games at all. Sure, if you have Dish Network, DirecTV, or AT&T, you could easily have watched it with something else. But if you were one of the many unlucky ones who were watching it, who didn't have Cox or Time Warner, you weren't able to watch them. Like, you could watch ESPN, Fox, CBS, but it's really hard to watch the Padres games because they rarely air one. I think Fox are like a minimum of 2 or 3 a year. Anyways, I will say this about the Channel 4 San Diego. They did have some great coverage. They really did care about the Padres a lot. I mean, it really showed how they really were a lot of importance to the Padres. Like, in fact, during most pregame shows, whenever they were in away games, showed something called the pregame extra, which is just simply like a flashback to something they've done in the past. And occasionally they talked about how back in the 1998 World Series, people still stayed in the stands even after the Padres lost, or essentially about Dick Onberg, or maybe something about Tony Gwynn. I mean, it really does show that they did care. They were really a great network to have air the Padres. Like, honestly, I will say this. I like Channel 4's coverage of the San Diego Padres. Personally, it was because, well, the great people who worked there, like Bob Scan, Jenny Cavnar. But the thing that really made me like them was because they got Tony Gwynn and Dick Onberg. Dick Onberg, for those who don't know who he is, he was the guy who did the NFL on CBS a few years and is still on CBS Sports with the U.S. Open and some tennis coverage. And Tony Gwynn, well, Tony Gwynn was like the first baseball star I ever liked. And also, I highly appreciate and respect him for staying with one team for 20 years. That team being the Padres, of course. Staying with them all the way until 2001. And of course, for those of you who don't know, he is, of course, the baseball coach for the San Diego State Aztecs baseball team. And I met him once. So, I will say this about Channel 4. It was good. Their reporting was good. Their coverage was good. The only thing that was negative about them was just the fact that they weren't on Dish Network. Like, personally, me and my family are a Dish Network family. Like, whenever I'm here in San Diego, I manage to watch them because everywhere I rent, there's a Cox subscription. So, like, Channel 4. But when I'm at home watching Dish Network, there is no way I can do that. It's impossible. It's hard. So, it was just sad. Like, sure, AT&T recent 2009 or 10 said we want to get Channel 4. So, like, they managed to close the loophole, which is the main reason why, because there's this loophole where if you didn't use satellite, you didn't have to be on satellite. But the FCC closed it and then said, now negotiate. But Cox was actually asking high prices. Why? Because, well, Cox for San Diego wasn't on all the packages. Like, traditionally, if you have like a basic package, like, it was, these and these. But to get the local teams on Fox Sports or something, you need to pay more. Cox gave it out to everyone. So, I'm assuming, I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming they probably said, we're not going to get paid more money because we're handing it out. Let's just charge them more. I will say that was kind of unfair. Like, sure, they weren't Fox Sports or Comcast to do some regions like San Francisco, but still. It's just really disappointing because I really did like Cox's coverage of the San Diego Padres. I mean, sure, there was that huge problem where they weren't able to receive sorry, they weren't able to receive on AT&T or Dish Network. I'm referring to AT&T constantly because my uncle, who happens to live around here, has AT&T Uburst and can't watch the Padres, and he really likes them. So I'm just sorry that they're gonna leave. Like, I will say I'm one of the few people who it is disappointed that Cox is not gonna be able to air the Padres next year. But also, I'm also glad they're not airing the Padres next year. I'm glad because someone else will do it, and that someone else will actually give it out to Dish Network and AT&T. Reportedly, Fox Sports, who operates the Fox Sports networks, will bring back the Padres on Dish Network or TV and Uverse, and reportedly produce a network called Fox Sports San Diego. From what I know about that, reportedly, it will include coverage of the Padres like always, but also it might include Dick Gomberg. Now, reportedly, all the contracts that the people sign with the National are all with the Padres, not with Cox. Dick Gomberg is the only one that has a year or more on his contract. Everyone else's contract expires this Wednesday when the last game airs on Channel 4. So, I want Tony Gwynn to continue doing the Padres. I like him. I just like it. Like, I might be a little biased because I'm a Padres fan. I like Tony Gwynn, and of course I'm a San Diego State University student who just happens to root for the Aztecs, which Tony Gwynn coaches and his baseball team. But I just like Tony Gwynn. Like, I like Tony Gwynn, Janie Kavner, everyone on that crew. Like, they're all great people. And I just hope that if Fox Sports is the one to pick up the Padres, that they at least keep that crew. I mean, it's really hard to start fresh, and especially like if you take something away that's been along for a long time, it's really hard to do that. I mean, just look at NBC. When they brought back Sunday Night Football on their network, they said, we're not going to get new people, let's just get the people from ABC. So when Monday Night Football on ABC ended, they brought the crew from ABC and put them on NBC. Similarly, ESPN did the same thing. They brought their Sunday night crew to Monday night. And it's worked well. So, essentially, I just hope, and I really do hope, that they at least give that Fox puts back the crew from Cox on their network. Like, it might be a little weird, but still. I just want to see Dick Gomberg and Tony Gwynn. I like them together. And Mark Grant, he was the last guy from the beginning to beat it the whole time. Like, I just love hearing those three talk. And just the way they interact with each other is funny. That and because I like seeing Tony Gwynn talk about his statue. Seriously. That statue's awesome. And also, they're the same people that went from Qualcomm Stadium to Petco Park. Like, that's really amazing that they transferred all their programming from one stadium to the other. So, I will say this. Despite the major problem that Cox had with not being on Dish Network or AT&T Uverse, I will say I did like Cox Channel for San Diego's coverage of the San Diego Padres. It's just really sad they're leaving, but it's just hard because, like, as a fan of the Padres, you're saying, oh no, they're leaving Cox 4. But as a fan of the Padres who gets this network saying, finally, I can now get the Padres next season. So, I just feel bad that Cox is not doing the Padres anymore. It just would be really sad to see them leave because this is weird, just seeing them finally end. I mean, it's just sad. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. And that was DJ Avery with Like OMG Baby. You can find it online. Anyways, I am outdone because I have to go run to the bookstore find that new homecoming t-shirt I've been hearing so much about. So, here's my last song for the show, and then afterwards I'll sign off. Here's now Britney Spears with Baby One More Time. Alright, so that's it. We're done for today. I'm off a bit early because I'm on my way to go see if they have those new t-shirts available in size XL over at the bookstore. And because, well, it's a bit early so I can have a chance to go out and do some fun. Alright, so anyways, you're listening to KCR, Channel 956 on Cox, and Time Warner Digital Cable 957, online at KCRLive.com, on the TuneIn Radio app for your iPhone, iPod Touch, or Android. Thank you very much. I will see you all next week at the same time, same place. Thank you, and good afternoon.